welcome everyone to the first episode of the Chilidogcast with your boy, FoxPlaysOfficial and SuperPretzelPunch. I don't know why I said your boy, where we talk about... I don't know what
it's
happened.
It's your boy,
FoxPlaysOfficial.
FoxPlaysOfficial.
Where we talk about hot and spicy...
F-P-O.
Where we talk about hot and spicy topics, and we dog on the dumbasses of the internet. And joining me, my co-host, SuperPretzelPunch. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm SuperPretzelPunch. You can call me Pretzeler Kelly. I'm a full-time variety streamer and cinephile. And yeah, that's all you need to know about me. Fox, how's the weather in your area today?
No one talks about the weather because we talk about deep topics here. We don't talk about small talk here. We talk about the big talk. We talk about it's your boy right here, alright? The best YouTube intro you could possibly do. Pretzel, what's on the agenda for today's podcast?
The agenda for today, we are going to talk about gaming topics for gamers, because we're gamers, guys, right? That's an identity. That's an identity that doesn't involve politics.
Doesn't involve
politics or race. Keep all that out. So we're going to talk specifically about the ethics and, as from a consumer perspective, buying day one, pre-ordering, things like that. We're also going to talk about our scrub of the week, and I am going to grill Fox on a question.
Ooh,
but before we even start, guys, if you want, in my Discord, if you're a member of my Discord or in Fox's Discord, we have a general question for you guys, and if you guys want to answer it, we'll read some responses to it. The question is basically, do you buy games day one or pre-order? What informs your decision about whether you're going to do it or not? And have you been burnt before from buying day one?
We want to hear the bad stories.
Yes, please. We want to hear the bad stories, especially.
All right.
Especially the bad stories.
So, Pretzel, what's our first topic for today?
We're going to be doing gamer topics.
All right, gaming topics, let's go. All right, Pretzel, what's the gamer topic for today? Wait, it's hype, isn't it?
It's hype. It's hype. It's so what it is inspired by Marvel's TM, Avengers TM, UFC, the new UFC game that came out. Basically, the ethics from a consumer perspective of buying a game day one. So why people do it without, basically what is motivating people to buy a game day one or pre-order a game day one. And a lot of this was spurred by the fact that the most recent news that I saw was about EA. About a month after UFC, their UFC game came out, they just suddenly started adding commercial breaks into the game.
I did not hear about this story. What?
Yes. So recently, EA just started adding commercial breaks into their game. This is a month after the game came out, so that it could not be included in the reviews. Crash Team Racing, I believe, did something similar, not with commercials, but initially when the game came out, it didn't have like paid DLC or something like that.
Okay.
And then it was after it released or after the review embargoes and stuff, and after the ESRB ratings, because ESRB ratings nowadays have to include that there's like purchasing options.
Yeah, because it's kind of like gambling in a way. Sometimes.
In a way, yeah. And they decided to add that after the fact so that it wouldn't be included in the rating. So I guess the general question or the general topic is about buying games day one and pre-ordering, and why people do it. If you've done it, Fox, why you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've been guilty of doing it, not as much recently, but if you want to go ahead and start talking about it, feel free.
Yeah, certainly. So for me, day one, well, I guess since I've been doing Twitch streaming, I kind of need to buy games day one just so I can get the buzz behind it and then the traffic for the viewers for it. In regards to buying day one, though, I only really buy indie games day one and anything by From Software. That's pretty much it. So, actually, and Kojima. If Kojima releases a game, I'll buy that day one just because... And I guess this goes back to the point where I follow on the equity of the brand. So, like, anything by Kojima, so you got Metal Gear Solid, obviously the Metal Gear Solid series, and Death Stranding, his most recent game. I always like his storylines. Even if his games aren't that, like, as good as sometimes. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a masterpiece, one of the best games ever made. Metal Gear Solid 5... Like, you know, great storyline. Actually, no. Great gameplay, but average storyline. I still kind of like the game for its bits and pieces, but I take it at face value. And then you've got something like Dark Souls, which I bought Dark Souls not day one, but I know I bought 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro all day one. I love them all greatly. I know you don't like Sekiro as much, so you say you got a little bit burnt by that. And then
Yes.
and then for me with indie games, I buy them day one just because number one, just support indie devs a lot. I want indie devs out there to succeed. I'm usually actually really good at picking a trailer because indie devs have no fucking equity at all. So they can't just be like, this is the new EA game. So everyone knows what the new UFC game is going to be, what the new what's the Need for Speed game is going to be. They know what it's going to be kind of like. Whereas indie devs got to put a lot more effort into like getting that, I guess, get that trailer right, or if there's a demo out for it. So I'm usually more like, and I guess my job I've got now is let me be a bit more liberal with my money. So like, if I see a brand new indie game that looks cool, I'll buy it day one. It doesn't bother me, and I've been burnt a little bit. Like Neon Abyss was okay, but at the end of the day, I'm happy to give them the money because the product's okay. I just don't think it was that good. What else another indie game I bought day one this year that I didn't think was that special? I can't. Pretzel, do you remember anything? I don't know. I can't think of. Um,
No. So a couple of things. So I don't buy day one.
yeah,
Period. I've been the most recent times I've been burnt. So my philosophy generally is I will buy games relatively close to release if I already know that I like the game.
yeah.
And more often than not, recently it's been basically Switch ports. That's pretty much it.
Good
If I know
remakes and remasters. Yeah, good point.
remakes and remasters, so like I got Hollow Knight when that first came out on Switch. I got that because I already knew I liked it. Deadly Premonition, there was like a special collector's edition. I already knew I liked it, and I just wanted to get a Switch version. Just recently, I pre-ordered. This is a slightly different example. The Mario 3D All Stars, which is going to have a limited release time frame, both physical and digital. But I mean, those are old games. I already know I like them. I already know I'm going to play them.
Mm.
So I pre-ordered it just so I could get my hands on it, right? But I've been burnt. So like Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, I got that.
Yeah.
I got the Switch release of that day
Oh
one.
no.
Yeah. And I even months afterwards, it was still nearly like impossible to play like the tower and stuff.
Yeah.
Just
So
because of frame rate drops.
I'm more crazy than you. I actually kickstarted Bloodstain. I did the $400 US dollar tier. So I spent way more money on Bloodstain. Luckily, I got the PS4 version and it was fine, and I got a PC copy as well. So, which I gave away anyway on my channel. But yeah, it was.
But even
I would be pissed off if I got the Switch version because I know how bad the Switch version was.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing: like, even I was fairly informed about it because I already knew that it was a game I liked and a game that I would want to play.
Mm.
But the port of it was bad. So
Yeah.
even being more informed about it, like, it didn't really help. And I guess this leads into another kind of topic that's kind of tangential to this, which is the fact that it's hard to make an informed decision now about buying games, especially specifically with regard to review embargoes.
Mm.
So for example, like if a game like I'm trying to think like a good example. So for example, NBA 2K21 just came out, and it's hard to find any reviewers that actually put out like a solid complete review of the game. They're almost always, at least for the first few days, were in progress. Same with Marvel's Avengers and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Because they do review embargoes, they don't give us as consumers enough time to make an informed decision about whether it's something we want or not. So the companies that are putting out these games are basically saying like it's almost like they don't have faith in their own product. Like they put their embargoes on the reviews so that there's as little time as possible for people to get information about the game before it releases, right? And I know Ribs and other people have mentioned fear of missing out. I don't think that applies to digital.
Yeah.
It does, and it used to be that way. It used to be that way when your only options were going to a game store and you pre-ordered because you knew they were only going to get a limited number of copies, right?
Yeah, correct.
But like that's not an option. That's not other than special editions and shit. Like I don't think that really applies. It sounds like an excuse and not a reason, right? So like 3D All Stars might be an example, right? Or like the Deadly Premonition special collector's edition or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or like limited run games is a great example, right?
Yeah.
Games where you buy it because you know that it's a limited release. But yeah, like as far as like fear of missing out, I don't think really applies anymore. So I guess the question is then what is the benefit to the consumer of buying day one, especially if they cannot make an informed decision
Yeah.
about their purchase?
And I'll interject here. So we talked about that. Now day one purchases, guys. With the I guess the worst side about day one purchases, if a company, so like a big corporation, so we got EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and I guess Square Enix is where you could chuck them on there. Is there another one? I always keep forgetting. There's always one more, but I keep forgetting. Activision. If with day one purchases, if a game sells like 1 million copies before the game has even come out yet from pre-orders, they've already like proved to their shareholders, hey, look, we've made a good product, we've sold a lot, so our job is done, and like they wipe their hands off the blood. And and the main companies that are guilty of it is probably EA and Ubisoft and Activision with the inconsistencies in their series. So we'll go to EA. Need for Speed had a bit of heritage behind it, a bit of like a bit of a what's it called, equity behind the brand. So like people would often buy Need for Speed day one, and I remember Underground was a good game. Underground 2 is a great game, and then Most Wanted's a really good game, and then Carbon came out, which is kind of shorter than Most Wanted, so you can debate it's not as good. But then Pro Street came out. How many people would have day one bought all those games and then bought Pro Street? I actually like Pro Street because the soundtrack's great, but a lot of people hate that game. So then EA loses then they go, but it doesn't matter. They don't care because they've made their money. That day one purchase has pretty much said, I've made my money. Who gives a crap? And then you got people out there like Ubisoft as well with Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 2. So number 1 was an experiment to make for Prince of Persia experiment. Number 2 sold really well. Number 3 was kind of like a DLC effectively. Sorry, number 3 was what's it called? Brotherhood is kind of like a DLC of number 2. And then they made 3. And then by then people started pre-ordering their games because they know that what they're going to get. They know what's going to happen like every year. But then you've got this situation when Syndicate came out when they clearly were just like, you know what, fuck it. They knew. There was like, fuck it, we'll just release a game. People are going to buy it anyway. And there's an actual quote from someone in the company saying, we can make whatever they want and people will buy it anyway. And that's what happened to Syndicate. The game is incomplete. And there was a character change as well. And then the graphics were incomplete. There was a lot of errors with the game. Then this is when when brands get ruined because Syndicate got so much backlash against it that they had to change the genre and like revamp it and do a whole new spiel on it. So that's why I actually think as a consumer, it's super important not to. Oh, Syndicate was good. It was Uni. Oh, Uni. All right, my apologies. So it's really important as consumers that there is no reason to buy a game day one. They insert these little like pre-order bonuses and stuff like that because they just want that money. Because they know once that sale is done, their job is done. Because they know the average person doesn't return games anyway. It has to be really bad, really like angrily bad that you'd like return a game straight away. But like if they've made their money from the sale, what's to stop them from just go? Because they know that they can just make it a passable game. Now I know Jim Stelly actually talked about the theory about making a game where it's just like it's that adequate level where it's just like it's enough to be a game, but not enough for you to be like, wow, this is a masterpiece, or enough to be like, fuck, that game was bad. It's in that uncanny valley level where it's just like an okay-ish game where the consumer, which is us, we are the consumer, don't forget that. We're a number to these corporations that as long as it's in that level and it just stays in that level where they don't need to try too hard to make it, because obviously to make a masterpiece, especially in AAA stage, you need to put a lot of effort into characters, graphics, story, gameplay, level design, everything, sound design. Or if you put in that okay level, where like the average person who doesn't really criticize games or think deeply about them will play and be like, yeah, it's fine, I had fun with it. And if it's just in that level and you get that day one that purchase, that sets a precedent. They'll go, all right, cool, we found the level. We'll just keep making the same old crap every day, and we'll get that day one pre-order for the next game. Boom, and that's how they make their money. It's a sad thing.
Yeah, and Sammy says consumers no longer have that time to make an informed decision. That's the point. That's the point that I wanted to make, was that it's one thing like if like a week or two before the game even actually releases, they come out with reviews and you can watch like gameplay and stuff through like IGN and GameSpot and all these other people, right? And then you can decide for yourself, right? It's the problem is that like all we usually have to go off of as far as like even like the gameplay trailers and stuff is stuff that's been curated
To look good
by the companies themselves.
Yeah.
Right? You're basically getting a vertical slice of the game from the company itself. And because of review embargoes and stuff like that, you don't have enough time to see at least more quote unquote objective gameplay and make a better informed decision, right? And the companies know, like the companies do their damn hardest to incentivize you with like exclusive day one DLC and bullshit like that, right? But
correct.
You have to like, you can't let yourself get played by that. You know what I mean? Like that DLC is going to be there. And I mean, if it's not, who cares? It's a skin or whatever, right?
It's like, I've never had there's never been a game where I played with the day one DLC with like significantly affected my gaming experience. And I think the only thing I could think of was maybe, I think I got Mass Effect 2 day one and it came with like a bonus character and a mission. The character was okay, but like it wasn't like that big of a deal, and like I could just bought that character later if I really wanted to. It's not that much, like it was like not worth it. Like I still bought the game. I still love Mass Effect 2. It's a great game, but like that's probably like the only DLC I could think of that I got day one that was like maybe would have affected my play experience, but I could have got it later. So there was no point to it. Like there's no point in me to rush into it. And
yeah, and
you go.
Just from my perspective, I just don't. I've mentioned this. I am not the kind of person that buys games day one. Just period. It doesn't matter what the game is, really. Other than like I said, Mario 3D All Stars. I already know I like the game. You know what I mean? I played it before, but it's like, at least from my perspective, and I know that some people are going to be kind of, especially some people that are watching this right now, are going to be a little skewed because they themselves are streamers.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I need to get ahead of the game. I need to play it when everyone else is playing. Ignore that. I'm talking just as your general consumer, not someone that doesn't stream or doesn't do anything like that. What does it benefit you to buy day one, especially with review embargoes and stuff like that, where you can't make an informed decision about what you want to, about whether it's even a damn good game or not, right? And the companies are doing as much as they can to hide information about that game for you. You know what I mean? Like they're doing their damn hardest, right? By incentivizing you to pre-order to give them money right now, right? Before you even have the game in your hand and before you can make any kind of informed decision about it. And it's just, I don't personally get it, honestly.
And like what you
Mocha
said about
buying,
that's what you're buying.
Mocha said Mocha's accusing me of buying Yakuza day one. That is an exception. That's been out in Japan for a year.
Ooh,
I've seen gameplay of it. That's been out in Japan for almost a year now. So I think that's different. The stuff in that game that's coming to, the stuff that might be different is the fact that it has like English dubbing and stuff, which other Yakuza games don't. So that might be a little iffy. But as far as the actual gameplay and stuff, I can go on YouTube right now and I can watch someone play the Japanese version and get an idea if I like it or not. I'm talking about like, here's the hypothetical. Let's say that new Yakuza game is coming out and they're releasing it at the same time in Japan, US, Europe, and Australia. Same day, same time, and stuff like that, right? I would not buy that day one. I would wait.
Okay, interesting. I like that. Jarvis, if it's one I've been waiting for ages and I trust the company, the benefit of getting it day one is to avoid spoilers. Yeah, that's like, spoilers that's actually the reason why I bought Metal Gear Solid 5, actually, because I didn't I think I was at that. There was a stage in my life where I didn't want to spend too much money on games brand new, but I had all my Metal Gear Solid friends playing it, and I was like, oh, they're gonna tell me the ending. So that's a circumstance where I'd play it. But that's only because like it's Metal Gear Solid, and Kojima hasn't really made a bad game. It's either or discussed that point earlier anyway. But that's a good point there. But yeah, look, I guess the point me and Pretzel are trying to make is just be careful with day one purchases. It's not there isn't really that much point to it. And I remember I used to buy so many games, not as much as I used to buy a few games day one or maybe like on Steam as well, and I'd be like, oh cool, and then I didn't even play the game in the end. I remember one of my friends, he has a copy of Final Fantasy 12. He bought day one back in, was it 2000 and I think 6 when it came out, and still in the shrink wrap, and he never played it. And now there's a HD version on PS4 and Switch, and he's still got his PS2 copy shrink wrap still. So that just shows you, like, I guess unless if it's like a game, like, just be careful. That's what we're trying to say. The main thing is like if you're really into the series, that's fine. But honestly, like any big company out there, I wouldn't bother buying their games day one. Like EA, Ubisoft, Activision, Square Enix sometimes, and I forgot who the other one was. Like, if they can find a way to sell, oh my god, Bethesda, don't even start that shit company. If they can find a way to sell you an inferior product so that you pay full price and they've got that money, there's no incentive for them to even try to make the game. If as consumers we stop buying, imagine a hypothetical world where we stop buying games day one, right? What would happen if we stop buying games day one, and the only way the game would sell is obviously marketing? That's fine. They will spend their money. But then also the game would have to be that good that people go, all right, I heard this game is really good. Let's go check it out. Let's go try it out. How many of you kids were burnt by Fallout 76 because you think Fallout 3 is amazing and Fallout 4 is amazing and New Vegas is amazing, and then 76 come out? I could tell from day one that game was going to be shit. I could tell. I could absolutely tell. Todd Howard is the most laziest game designer out there. He doesn't give a fuck about you guys. So you've got to be careful but you know what? You still bought the game day one. The writing was on the wall. The games have been going down in quality ever since, but you still bought it day one. At the end of the day, they still made their money. They didn't care. Like, I know they've tried to fix things and make themselves look pretty, but unless the backlash is super bad, where it actually affects the company's like reputation, they're not going to care. They'll just be like, oh, whatever. Yeah. We'll just try again. They'll get it the next game. Like, I'm sure every single EA sport game hasn't been a master. Not that really sport games can be masterpieces, but you know what I mean. So yeah. Anyway, Pretzel, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, just one last thing. So as a counter to Jarvis, who said that if you trust the company, I trusted FromSoft. I got Sekiro Day One Collector's Edition, and if I had waited and I had read reviews, I would have realized that game is not for me. Not that it's a bad game. This is a different topic, but I would have realized that game is not for me if I had just waited. But because I place so much trust in FromSoft and Miyazaki and stuff like that, and I've liked all the other games, I'm like, you know what? I got caught up in that kind of mindset as well, right? And I think that you can't really trust even that, because it's not even just like quality and stuff like that.
The gameplay itself. The gameplays, you didn't like the gameplay.
Right, exactly. I didn't like the gameplay. I have my own issues with it. It's still a great game, but like, what if I had waited and read reviews and watched gameplay and heard some other critiques of the game, I probably would have waited until it was on sale.
Yeah.
To give it a try, knowing that it's probably not what I was expecting, right? Yeah, that was the only thing I wanted to add.
I just want to say what Hatred Behemoth's point, which is what I guess we're trying to reiterate, and I absolutely love this point. Since money is all they care about, denying them that is the only way that they will listen. 100 fucking %. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, guys, don't buy. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the hype.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Next topic. Right.
Next thing, scrub of the week.
Oh,
we got some scrubs.
We got some scrubs. Hold up. Let me play the intro. All right, Pretzel, tell us about these scrubs. Who
Uh,
are we putting on blast? Who are we putting on blast? I love blasting people. It's my favorite thing in the world to do.
yes, our scrub, plural scrubs of the week are specifically viewers that make streams annoying.
Oh, okay.
Viewers, not streamers. We're not talking about streamers. We're talking about viewers and chatters that make streams annoying or hard to watch or hard to participate in. So, do you have there's all kinds of ones. So, I just want to caveat this by saying that it's not
Directed.
trolls, it's not racist, it's not people like that, right? We're not talking about bots or bullies or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? Or harassers. We're talking about more subtle things that people do that
And
make it annoying, not even just as from a streamer perspective. That's a different thing, right? We can split this up into two different parts. One is which, as a streamer, what do viewers do or chatters do that can make it annoying? But also as a fellow participant in the chat, watching someone else stream, what they do or what they can do that makes it annoying.
now
So
everyone's panicking in the chat right now. Now, let me tell you guys, my
I'm
chat.
talking about you, Cass.
Yeah, Cass. I hate Cass. I'm talking about everyone in this chat right now. You guys are all cool. I have no beef with
Yeah,
any of you. I honestly, I would have banned that one person who I'm going to ban eventually when he comes in. He hasn't come in, but everyone else in this chat's been really good. I'm very serious. I hand select my viewers. If I don't like you, I get rid of them. I get rid of them. So if you
mm-hmm,
guys are still in my chat, you're okay. You're okay. All
mm-hmm,
right. Everyone, put the happy emotes. Put some happy emotes. You're all beautiful people. All right.
exactly.
So people who annoy, I guess. All right. So when I go into a stream, let's have a thing. Let's have a thing. So there is a handful of. Everyone's got the thumbs up. That's good. I like that emote by the Afro Thunder. Muse mine for 10 seconds. But yeah. So I guess we'll go into all right things that annoy. Okay. So my pet peeve, I guess, if I go into a chat, is when the streamer himself asks asks for asks for help in the game, and then the viewer, instead of just giving him the answer with clear instructions, and I've seen this happen with poor Slappy. I'll never forget this stream. This is the example, all right? He was playing Hollow Knight, and he wanted to find some item that was missing. All right. Everyone in the chat was like, "Oh, I think it's here. I think it's there. I think it's there. I think it's there. I think it's there. I think it's there." Slappy went, "Hey guys, can you just tell me where it is?" Like he didn't say, "Oh, just give me a clue." No, he said, "Guys, can you just tell me where it is?" Everyone, the stupid Hollow Knight community, were just going like, "Oh, it's probably in the Fog Canyon up in this room to the left." Like the most crappiest instructions. I saw the stretch on Slappy Jack's face, and I went, "Nah, let's." I just went to Wikipedia, copied the link, showed him the JPEG of the item he was looking for. Boom, there, answer solved. There is no
Mm-hmm.
fucking point if someone is actually asking for help, and there's nothing about like the no backseat or anything. If he just says, "Tell me where it is," just tell him where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't waste their time. Like, come on, like he's
So,
asking for help.
so bad backseating is
Yeah.
basically what you're saying. Kind of related to that is just backseating in general. And what I mean by that is even if backseating is allowed, nothing makes me less interested in a stream than when the entire chat and the entire discussion is just talking about where do I go next? What do I do next? Where do I go next? Did I miss this thing? Where's this thing? And that's all the chat is about. It's
Mm.
like, what if you know what I mean? Like, so if, for example, we'll stick with Hollow Knight because we love pissing off the
Oh,
Hollow
the
Knight
whole like community
community.
can go to hell.
Let's say that someone's playing Hollow Knight and like they're like, okay, well, where do I go next? And then that streamer says that, and then the chat is like, okay, well, you go here, okay. Like, and then they get there, like, okay, well, now where do I go next? And all chat in the streamer's interaction is just basically just it's like watching someone read a walkthrough while it's being written. You know what I mean? And it's just that's not engaging. That's not content. That's like, how am I, as someone that maybe all I want to do is find someone entertaining to watch? How do I interject and talk about that? You know what I mean? Or how do I talk about anything else? And part of that is also like that's on the streamer themselves too. So I know that we're talking specifically about viewers, but like that's on the streamer themselves too to create conversations
Mm,
beyond just backseating and stuff like that. You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's them. It's on them to establish boundaries. You know, um, but yeah, that's all I have to say about backseating. I do have other ones too.
Yeah, I think
Um,
my issue with
Go ahead.
backseating was like I even had a backseat, not a backseat, but it's kind of like a wanker dude, where I was like literally just before the stream started, and before the raid from the lovely Melondor, um, uh, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just read your comment. Psychowiz. I hate when stream asks for help in the game that you can't type a clear guide for. Like I had to do this, but I hadn't. Yeah, Psychowiz. That's a good point. When someone asks for help, but there's like you can't really write the instructions out because it just doesn't work. You can't explain where to go, especially because you're doing it live as well. So like when I was watching poor Slappy, I'm bringing it up again. When he was like having struggled with those puzzles, and I knew he wanted help, but I was like, I can't tell you go up, left, up, pull box, pull left. It's just it doesn't that game you can't work. Catherine, you need the reaction time like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
but for example, I had a guy when I was playing Devil May Cry, and he was just insulting me, saying I was doing the boss wrong and that. And I'm just like, what value are you adding? So it's kind of like, in a way, I guess the question to a viewer is like, what your comment, what value do you add to the chat? And so I guess I guess they're the backseats. You got the ones that just can't backseat correctly. You got the ones who just you got the ones who are the alpha males, right? The alpha nerds who like, I've already beat this boss 20 times. I can do this so easy. Like those guys, they're just losers. Like I've had people come to my chat and like never been to my channel before, and they just flex at how good they are at the game, and I'm just like, do you want like your mummy or daddy didn't love you enough, so like you have to get the streamer to say, that you're a good person? Like what the fuck's your problem? Like, and that's, to me, it's just a psychological issue right there. Or like, yeah, there you go, this cast, it's not that hard, fuck off. Exactly, like there's always those idiots out there that, there was, I remember this is one spud who kept bragging about how he beat Fume Knight in 8 tries or whatever. And I said, "Oh, did you know Fume Knight is statistically the hardest boss in Dark Souls 2?" There's an actual graph that From Software took where it has the most he's killed the most players. So yeah, this is just statistics, and this viewer was arguing with a fucking graph of stats. I don't think this guy knows how statistics work. Sample size 1 versus sample size the entire Dark Souls 2 player base. Like, shut up. Shut up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't talk about that. I guess
Kind
there you go.
No, kind of in line with that, and maybe you can build off of this. The other one that I have written down is, and this one might take some explaining, is viewers that talk to streamers instead of talking with them. And what I mean
Ooh,
is, a
okay.
great example is someone that comes in and all they do is say just kind of non sequitur, just statements that don't really create conversation. For example, they come in and they just say something like, "Oh, I beat this boss in 8 times," right? Or they come in and they say, "Oh, well, I'm playing this game right now." That's not creating conversations. It's chatting. It's them. It almost feels like them. I don't. You probably have better examples than I do. I got it a lot when I played Sonic, for some reason. People that like come in and would be like, "Oh, I platted this game already." It's like, okay. And it's not just flexing and bragging. It's just people that just don't really they're not really trying to engage in a conversation.
Nah,
It
they're
almost
just
sounds like they're just chatting to hear themselves chat or just to hear the streamer read their chat out
yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like that's all they're doing. It's not actually talking with the streamer. It's just I'm going to type something out. I want the streamer to read it and that's it, right? But and even I'm not even talking from a streamer perspective. That's annoying. But even as a viewer, like how does a viewer engage with that other person, right? Um, like it's like as a viewer, like you can't interact with other people in the chat if all they're doing is just making non sequitur statements about just random shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Sam B said they don't know how to connect with others. It could be attention seeking or just social inability. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, but that doesn't change the fact that that's not very engaging. It's still not conversation. You know what I mean? It's one thing if they're trying hard to create a conversation and stuff.
Mm.
And especially as a streamer, if you're trying to pull them in by asking questions about them, like what other games do you like? What other hobbies do you have? Or things like that. And they just don't really engage that way. Um, that's another thing too. Okay, so here's the other one I have.
Mm. Tell me.
Single-minded people that can only talk about one thing, usually
Oh.
the game that's being played,
Yeah.
and don't attempt to talk about
Hollow Knight community again.
Yes. Hollow Knight community, they're not the only ones. Persona community, I've seen do it a lot, where it's like that's all they want to fucking talk about is Persona. And it's like as a viewer, like it's like as a fellow viewer, it's like, okay, well, that's all the chat is going to be filled with is fucking Hollow Knight talk, Persona talk, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm just only slightly related in the game and I'm more Cuphead as well. If I'm only slightly related in the game, but more interested in the streamer and the community that they're building, like that's very exclusive to me as a viewer. You know what I mean? It's creating another issue that I wrote down, which is viewers that create a clique kind of in their chat, but yeah, it's single-minded people that just aren't able to talk about anything else other than usually the game that's being played, even if the streamer tries to pull them out of that conversation. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember when I was playing, I keep bringing up Hollow Knight, but I remember when I was playing Hollow Knight, the amount of people that came in the chat and they're just talking about Hollow Knight, and I'd just be like, look, there's other games in the world. So after I finish this game, and you've hit that follow button, I'm going to play some other great games. Do you want to see some other great games with Hollow Knight? And they go, oh, you just know that what they're going to do is they're going to go to their next fucking Hollow Knight stream. They're going to like learn about. It's like they're stuck in this like rut where they just keep going on, and it's awkward. What do we got here from Cass? Opinions on constant in jokes between the chat and the streamer. That's a tough one. This is Cass because look, like for example, this is Cass, or should I say this is Dystopia? Just there we go. I just said in joke right then. That's an in joke between me and this is Cass because every time he came to my channel and raided, he kept saying he plays dystopian games, and I just went okay, and I was like it was a joke, but like. That's a joke between you and me, Cass. We don't know. And then here we go, Jenga Jeff. What's wrong with mopping? There we go. That's another inside joke between me and Jenga Jeff. I guess you've got to balance it out. That just comes to, as a streamer itself, you got to balance it out. But then I guess up to a viewer, you shouldn't bring it up all the time because it's just, oh, and then Tom's whatever. All right. How many inside jokes we got? We got the whatever, we got the mopping. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess it's all about whatever, Tom. It's all about keeping a balance between, I guess, inside jokes and that, but that's what happens when you start a stream and you're a big personality. You're going to create inside jokes. That's what's going to happen. It's natural. But I guess you got to like when someone comes in, like for example, say if someone came to my stream and well, of course we contradict topic. Aren't I always contradictory? If someone comes into my channel and I'm doing a haiku, how many people are gonna be like, "What the fuck's a haiku?" Or I'm doing squats on stream. They'd be like, why is he doing squats? And like everyone knows what the squats are for, but like other people be like, what is this? So it does get to that stage where you gotta balance it out as a viewer, as a streamer. That's more streamer directed, honestly, not the viewer.
But there's also I was gonna say like inside jokes, while they might create an exclusive kind of community in the sense of like, oh, this community has their own language and culture, so to speak. That's also what you're trying to create, right? You're trying to create a community
and
that
a culture
is based on a certain culture and a certain kind of language that you have together, right? And that's how you bond, and that's how you interact with each other, and that's how you deepen your relationships with each other. So there is like kind of there's a difference between doing so in a way that like there's a difference between doing so in a way that like new people that come in just feel like they're not included. And there's also a way of doing it where you are basically including them in the fun, so to speak.
Yeah, correct.
Viewers that basically, if I guess what I was going to say was viewers that basically create like cliques in the community. And I think a big part of that is not embracing and welcoming in new people into the community.
Mm.
Not from a streamer perspective. I'm talking from a viewer perspective, right? There's been plenty of times that I have gone into new streams. I went into Mocha's stream initially, and I got kind of, it took a while before like some people in her community finally accepted me in the community,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Instead of welcoming me in right away. You know what I mean? Or embracing me as being part of the community, right?
Correct, yeah. I've
Um,
seen that happen as well.
yeah. And that can be that's off-putting, you know what I mean? And it's very selfish from the viewer perspective to do that. The only other annoying viewer that makes it hard is people that only say one word. One word answers. That's it.
They're your
one word
favorites.
answers.
Hi.
Hi.
Can we get some highs in the chat,
Good.
please?
Hi. Good. HBU. Lol.
Hi.
That's
Huh?
it. Yeah,
Hi.
exactly.
Yo.
K.
Just a
Yep.
simple boop.
Yep, exactly.
Nice one, Scooper.
Um,
No.
because I mean, from a streamer perspective, it's annoying. It's like, well, what the fuck do I do with that? But even from another viewer, like as another viewer, it's like, okay, well, how am I as part of this chat and you as part of this chat? How are we supposed to interact with each other, right? One of the things that I enjoy the most as a streamer and as a viewer is seeing chat interact with each other, right? Not just like all of chat talking to the streamer and that's it, right? There's a lot more intersection between like chat themselves, you know? Um, and a lot of what I'm talking about here is things that get in the way of that, of chat interacting with each other.
Yeah, well, that brings to my point is like viewers I don't like are the ones that are like psycho opinionated. See, I know people say I'm opinionated, but there's you think I'm opinionated. I've seen people who are like bring me to like the fucking next level, where they'll effectively put down someone's discussion, not even have a discussion effectively, and you could tell it's either they're arguing with other viewers, and or they're arguing with the streamer itself, and you could tell the streamer's just feeling uncomfortable, and you can see it on his face, his or her face, and the guy's just still going on and on and on and on about it, and then what's it called? And then you've got like, and you're just sitting there, and you just like sometimes because there's a few streams I watch that if someone comes into the chat, I don't want to participate. I just want to be like, ugh. Like I'll just be like, oh, that person's there. I'm just not gonna bother anything because then I don't want to talk to them type of thing. What do you got? Fennel? Stream fumes and large mods could chatting me up. That's weird. The hell? All right. Well, as a guy, that's not happened to me. But yeah, that'd be weird. Especially if you, yeah, that's unusual. That's horrible. Sorry that happened to you, Fennel. But yeah, like I think, I guess this is where the streamer comes in. That if you've got to really read the room. You've really got to read the room. And I'm very thankful that one day when there was oh yeah, Afro Thunder in a stream where I watched a Nobel chat acknowledge me. That's weird, Afro. I know what you mean. And that's not me being ironic to acknowledge you just there. But yeah, I remember got you, Purtle. And I remember I was feeling uncomfortable because I was fighting this really hard boss guy in Bayonetta. It was super hard. I don't know if you guys know what's his name, Rodan, the shopkeeper. It was super difficult. And I remember these two guys came in and they were just saying dumb shit, and I was like, what the hell? And I was just like, ugh, like, I just wanted to beat the boss. I didn't want to talk about that. I didn't want to even talk about the boss, help with the boss, and that. And then yeah, and then what's it called? Luckily, one of my viewers said, "You're making the mood terrible," and I'm always very grateful to that viewer. She knows who she is. I'm always very grateful because at that point I was like, "Oh yeah, I can just ban people." I forgot that, and you know what? I got rid of those two fuckers, and then my stream became so much better. Like they're gone. I can focus on the boss guy. We're all just having a good conversation. So like, always like try and read the room. Like if you're a viewer and you feel like the stream is feeling uncomfortable due to another idiot viewer, call them out. Like, I don't think people like. It's funny. People on the internet are happy to bully people, but they're not happy to call out people's bad behavior. And so yeah, like if you feel like you see someone that's being an idiot, like even message the mods or something. I've seen it happen a few times. Like I've seen like a guy that was like creeping on girls and he was like trying so hard, like so bad. He was actually lucky that because I told the mod like this guy's being a wanker. He's like, yeah, I could tell. Luckily, that person actually calmed down. I do see him from stream sometime, and he's actually a lot better now. But like, I remember when I first met him, I was like, this guy is a, like, I was like, if this guy comes to my channel, ban him. But yeah, like, please, like, as a viewer, like, I don't know why people, happy to call out. We're behind this anonymous screen. Why can't we call out viewers? Other viewers call out viewers for being idiots. So like, yeah, just I don't know, just think. Obviously, and if you feel uncomfortable, I understand. If you don't feel comfortable starting a fight, whatever, just message the mod just to let someone know. There's a guy who comes to a chat and breaks the rules and swears all the time. How do you just deal with him? Scuba, I think it's time for you to fucking grow up and let people swear. So,
kind of to wrap this up. So we've been talking about a lot of negatives. What are some things, just as a final question regarding this topic, what are some things that when you come in as a viewer to another stream, what are some things people can do or do that help you?
He said do. He said, guys, remember the time Pretzel said do on the podcast? This is funnier than stick bug. This is funnier than the stick bug incident. He said do.
All right.
All right. What is something?
What are some things that you have seen viewers do or can do that have helped you feel more integrated into a stream or made you feel more welcome into a stream? Things like that. Basically, kind of the opposite about what we've been talking about. A lot of things that people do to make it annoying to be in a stream as a viewer.
Because we're talking about what's the
that
solution.
Other viewers do. But what are some things people can do or have done to help? So like my first thing is moderators and other viewers, when new people come in, number one, welcoming them. Number two is also not being afraid to ask questions to them or to engage in a conversation. Don't just rely on the streamer to engage that viewer.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to engage them yourself. You know what I mean? What about you? Do you have any other examples?
Bring it back to that point. You as a viewer have not like a direct responsibility, but an indirect responsibility to make that stream better. Because let's be real, if you're a shitty Fortnite streamer or some guy playing Marvel's Avengers with 0 viewers, it's probably better to play Fortnite than Marvel's Avengers, honestly. You're 0 viewers, there's no chat. That streamer has got to work super hard to make that content entertaining, that someone comes in, that they feel welcome and they stay. So if you got a few people in the chat and it's kind of fun, you got a bit of a vibe going on, someone comes in, just say hello. And like, how much better would it be? Like, isn't it exciting when you get like a brand new viewer that's just like really cool and they just add to the conversation and makes it fun? It's just like, sometimes people forget, like, remember, we didn't know each other like a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Like, I'll never forget when Django Jeff came in. He came in and he was hilarious. Him and I just got along and bantered really well, and he's like added a lot of value to the channel, and like everyone loves Django Jeff now. He's awesome. I remember when I found Duo and I was like, I was stalking his channel for like a couple of months or something, and then I told Ozzy to raid him, and then like and then I met Duo, and then I met all his people, and it just became like just grew from there. Like, you're just meeting brand new people, and then like we're meeting Scuba's Gaming as well, just recently as well. He's another great person. It's like don't forget, guys, every person has an opportunity to be the next awesome viewer. What's Sammy said? If you're appealing to the community, they have a responsibility, but don't believe that everyone should be held responsible. Oh, Sammy B. That's why I said indirect. direct means like you have to do it. Like it's like your paid job. Whereas indirect, like it's kind of like we work as a community together to make like the stream more fun for people and more fun for the streamer. Because it's kind of like we kind of like work together in a way to make the place a better place. So make the stream a better place. So yeah, like don't be afraid to say hello or be a bit more involved. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable or you're having a bad day or you don't feel like talking, don't worry about it. Like, you know, so there's nothing wrong. There's nothing. I'm not calling out lurkers. Like, if you're lurking, you're just chilling, just chill away. Even people lurking this podcast now, don't even chime in. Just lurk away, enjoy the podcast and that, or don't enjoy it. I don't care. But yeah, always feel like that. Yeah, I'll just have a conversation with someone. Someone says, "Hey, I love Metal Gear Solid." And why can't you ask him a question about, hey, what's your favorite Metal Gear Solid? Stuff like that. I don't know. What do you got there? African? I had a Spanish friend come to me something hard minutes ago. What's the question? I learned and tell me he didn't speak English. Can you follow me though? So I'll allow it. Yeah, it's such a strange one, Afro. We're going to do so much. The chat goes dead. We have to get Scuba correct. If the chat goes dead, you have to get creative. Absolutely. Or don't.
Absolutely. And like, as a viewer, also don't be afraid to talk about something other than the game that's being played.
But don't, I mean? But like, don't dampen the mood down.
Yeah, don't dampen the mood down or anything like that. But just be like, you know, hey, I just watched this movie. Have you seen it? What movies have you seen recently? Guarantee you, streamers and other viewers are just looking for something to talk about other than just the game. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like. And as a fellow viewer, don't be afraid to just ask other viewers questions and talk to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with having side conversations, because as a streamer and as another viewer, I might see like you guys are having this conversation and I might interject and ask, and like it's a jumping off point. You know what I mean? Like I always describe streaming as basically a date, right? And the game that we're playing is basically where are we going on the date, right? But where we're going on the date is not all you can talk about on the date in order for it to be successful, right? Like if you go to a Spanish restaurant, you can't just talk about Spanish food for an hour and call it a good date, right?
No.
And that's how I feel about streaming as well, as a viewer and as a streamer, is that that you need to be able to engage and talk about many people. Everyone I know has more depth to their personality, their interests, and things like that, other than the game that is being played right now.
Yeah, we're not just.
So don't be afraid to show that. Don't be afraid to show that you're a complex person.
I'm not just a Devil May Cry streamer. I'm not just a Devil May Cry streamer. Pretzel's not just a retro streamer. We've got other interests outside. Got him.
Says someone that's been streaming in the retro community.
All right,
and played such obscure indie games as Ghost of Tsushima.
I know, right? Is there a rule between big versus small streamers? Sammy, I guess. Look, I think you can still handle the conversation. Look, I've actually watched Excessive Profanity. He has 1,000 people in his chat. He only just picks on, I guess, if someone says something interesting. Actually, when you get to 1,000 viewers, only effectively probably like 150, 200 people talk. Then you've got like 100 of those people who just say, "Oh, great shot," or you know, "Awesome," or "That was pretty cool." And then you've got like 50 or 100 that like might actually put a conversation topic. He's noticed my comment before. He was playing Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I remember I said, "Oh, are we allowed to play this on stream?" And then he answered my question, and I was like, "All right, cool." So Sam, I think from 0 viewers to 1,000 viewers, I think it's the same. I think the same rules kind of apply. But yeah, then when you get to like Pokemon's numbers or like actually I'm not saying that word. Another big dog streamer of Ninja, like that's impossible. That's a different world. And then we got Starman, one of my serial lurkers. It feels like a group of friends that hang out every Friday, even those who just hang out quiet in the background. Feel like include by guys in the chat. Exactly. Like, don't forget, guys, lurkers are still viewers. And sometimes they are just literally listening, and that's fine. And as long as you can, if everyone can make it engaging, it makes the lurkers have a good time as well. Because sometimes I lurk people's streams, I can't be fucked talking. I just don't want to talk. But like, you know, if we could just chill, if I'm still listening and enjoying it, like it's still another way to enjoy it. Psycho Wiz's view. It's hard to. It isn't hard to. I hate seeing the chat die. Yeah, exactly. Psycho Wiz. That's very nice of you. Not everyone's like that. And look, we're not. I'm not saying to everyone put pressure on the person. Don't put pressure on yourself to start talking to everybody. But just have it in the back of your head. Like I don't. I'm not saying put everyone in an arm lock and that admirable wig. I get no answer. Maybe the stream is not good then, or I don't know. Or maybe the question you got to ask yourself what's wrong with the question. If you want to give me an example, admirable wig, please let me know. In terms of actors, it's just not. It depends on mood. Yeah, that's fine. Mood's fine. I understand. And then I don't know. There's just a bunch of food. I think we've covered everything. Pretzel, are we ready to go to the next topic? Unless you've got one more. Yeah, I need slow mo. Right?
I'm ready to. I'm ready to grill you.
All right, here we go. All right, we're getting grilled.
Mm-hmm.
All right, grill me, buddy. Let's go. All right, Pretzel. What are you grilling me on? Let's go.
All right. So, if you guys don't know, Fox is an achievement hunter.
Do I stream?
And I am not. I do not get achievements, or I don't seek them out.
Mm-hmm.
I literally only have one platinum, and it's just the only reason I got it was because I completed the game. That's it. So I was playing Nier Automata recently. And in Nier Automata,
can we refer to the game as Masterpiece, please, for the rest of this podcast?
Yes, Masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Very colorful game.
Mm-hmm.
If in Nier Automata, once you beat the game, a shop opens up that allows you to spend the money that you've earned in the game to purchase trophies that you have not gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a way of, because Tarioko, from an interview that I read, said that he basically doesn't get achievement hunting.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really care about it. He doesn't see the point. So he just made it so that you could just buy the trophies you don't have in the game.
Correct.
And so my question to you, or kind of what I want to grill you on, is number one, your thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know you told me like kind of how you cheesed it and stuff like that, but I'll have further questions about it.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I kind of just want to grill you on kind of just achievement hunting in general, what you think about that kind of mechanic in Nier Automata, and I'll have follow-up questions, but just if you want to go ahead and talk about it, feel free.
Certainly. So there's that question is multi-layered. Now I'll just begin. So I've not just started getting trophies just yesterday. I've been obsessive compulsive, getting 100% in games since I was a kid. I think my first ever memory was Wario Land on Game Boy, where if you finish the game, depending on how much money or gold you've collected, at the end of the game, it changes the ending. And so when I found out that if you collect all the gold and all the money, you win the moon. Like, it's a pretty cool ending. If you haven't played Wario Land, like, seriously guys, it's an awesome game. No, not the big cards. You get a moon. You get the moon melon door, the freaking moon, and it's got Wario's face on it. And I'll never forget my friend. Actually, one time came into my house and he's like, "Oh, I got the castle." And that's not the good ending. The moon's the good ending. Anyway, so like as a kid, I kind of like it got incentivized that if I get it 100% in a game, I might get that I'll get like a reward for it. And then I guess the next game, the big game in my head that I could think about was a Donkey Kong Country 2. So that was the first Super Nintendo game I ever got. And at the side of the game, when you start your save file, it has a percentage. All right, and if you just beat K. Rool at the end, you don't get 100%. You have to get all the DK coins, get all the bonus coins, collect everything, and then you can go to the Lost World and you fight the secret boss guy, and then you beat the secret boss guy, secret K. Rool fight. You get the true ending, get 102%. So in my brain, I've got this engraved thing in my head where if I get 100%, I get rewarded. Not all games do that, but I think another good game that did that was like what's it called? Resident Evil 4 on PS2. I remember if you finish it on hard mode or professional mode, you unlock the elephant gun. So that kind of incentivized me to do hard mode, which I never used to do as a kid. I did finish some hard games as a kid, but I never went out of my way to do hard mode. So achievement hunting has been in my, it's the way my brain works. I love to get 100% in a game, and like Banjo-Kazooie, all the kids collectible games, I always get 100%. And anyway, and then like, yeah, doing optional bosses in Final Fantasy games and all that. Anyway, then when the Xbox came out, I didn't care about achievements. I just finished the game. If I really liked the game, I'd go out my way to 100% it. Kind of. It was Mass Effect. I did all the side quests, and I know who's played Mass Effect 1, but side quests in that game are garbage. They're terrible. They're so boring. But I did them all. I did them all. But just because I like the game. But then it was like when God of War 3 came out on PS3, I finished the game, and I remember just looking at these trophies, and I was like, oh, I've almost got the platinum. So if I just finish the game on hard mode, I can get it. Once I got the first
Mhm.
platinum, that's when I got hooked. I was obsessed with it. Now, in regards to that Yokotara's thing, like achievement hunting is like a specific OCD mindset that some people have in their game. And I truly believe him as a creator, he just wants people to play his game because in the original Nier, the only way to see the true ending was you had to collect all the weapons, and some people might have never done that, and you would have missed out an experience of a lifetime because the true ending of Nier is, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the true ending of Nier is really freaking cool. And so he probably was fed up that people like that would have just played the first Nier, maybe just even finished the game once and just didn't do it. So achievement hunting, it's a double-edged sword. I feel like in some games it enhances the experience, and in other games it ruins the experience. I can give you examples of both.
Yeah, please do.
All right, so I think the biggest enhancer, and this is the game I always use as a litmus test to say what a good trophy is. Dragon's Dogma, one of my most favorite games ever. If you guys don't know what it is, it's basically imagine Skyrim was fun. So imagine playing a game like Skyrim, but it's actually like fun to play, and like the game design's good and that. It's crazy, I know, right? And anyway, with Dragon's Dogma, you just got to finish. If any Tom, Dick, or Harry play the game, they'll just finish the game. They'll just get the ending and move on. For me to get the platinum, I had to do all the side quests, and as I was doing this, and I get all the endings. When I finished Dragon's Dogma, there was only one ending. There was only one ending, and I was like, all right. But I didn't realize there was like hidden endings. I did all the side quests, and the side quests kind of hinted and alluded the concept that your character has. The character kind of has like, I don't want to spoil it because it's going to ruin the game, and I want people to try themselves. But the side quests, there's a character that kind of gives you hints about there's an alternate ending and there's other stuff. When I actually did do the true ending for Dragon's Dogma, my jaw dropped. I was just like, it was such a surrealistic ending. It like changed my perspective of the game. It made me go, whoa. Like, and it elevated the game from just a good game to fucking top 300 game I've ever played in my entire life. It is such a well crafted game. And and like if it wasn't for that trophy of the hidden ending and knowing about it, I would have never even gone out my way to do it. I would have just played the game like that was a pretty cool game. But because I had like
Mhm.
the OCDness inside my brain, I was like, oh, I gotta get all the achievements. So I did everything, and then I got the secret ending, and I was like, God damn it, that was amazing! Like hell yeah! And then the opposite spectrum is something like Uncharted, and this is, I guess, a preference. Uncharted, all the Naughty Dog games have annoying as all hell collectibles. It just ruins the pacing because I want to be efficient with the game. I don't want to play it more than I have to. So I'm playing through the game, stopping every second to look at a guide, see this collectible, move it forward, get another collectible. And like the collectibles don't give you anything. They're just nothing. They just give you a trophy. And I don't think they even unlocked art gallery. I think so, if someone corrects me wrong, that's fine. I'll proves me wrong, that's fine. And then just replaying the game again, and then I had to do it again on hard mode. I like doing hard mode. The hard mode at Uncharted's fun sometimes, but the stopping every 3 seconds to get a collectible, that just ruins the pacing of the game for me.
Mhm.
And then this is the worst example I've ever seen in my entire life. So there's this really terrible company out, and this is where I met the dark side of trophy hunting. So I remember when I was a kid, I got my first platinum, and I got I think 10, in like when I was in university. I remember I met this guy, and he said, oh, I've got 30 platinums. I was like, oh, I got 10. He's like, oh, cool. And I asked him, what have you got? And he just basically listed all these baby games, like literal baby games for the children. So if anyone can chop the baby games emotes in the chat, I'd love to see him. He literally had all these Disney games. He had the Hannah Montana game. He had just had children's games. But he's like bragging that he's got 30 of them. And then he asked me, what have I got? And I said, oh, God of War, Demon Souls, what's it called? Batman Arkham Asylum. They're all hard games or medium games. And he's like, oh, wow. Like, he looked at me as like I was some freak at gaming or whatever. And I was just like, oh, I didn't realize, like, I wasn't competing for a number. I was just like, just wanted to play the game just for, like, I just enjoyed the game. I wanted to get 100%. Let's do it. And yeah, and then, so then this created this whole disconnect where some achievement hunters just finish the game and they just like the game, so they just do it. Then you've got the achievement hunters that literally just purchase crappy games that aren't even fun. They've put zero effort in. It's like literally like a kid's fucking crayon drawing that looks terrible, gives it to you, and then it's just like, okay. And then like it's just and then it's like they want like this recognition. They've got like who cares? Like I don't even care how many trophies I've got. Like it doesn't like I just like the game and I just want to do it. I just like challenging myself. And then this brings back to this game. So last week, this really great indie game came out called Even the Ocean, right? Now the company that published Even the Ocean, it's made by the same people who made Anodyne 1 and 2. Some people know what Anodyne is, but yeah, people don't know Anodyne 2 and Even the Ocean. Anyway, the game's great. It has a fantastic story. I remember 2016 when it came out, I cried at the ending. It was such a beautiful storyline. It was great. And actually deals. I think the main character is actually transgender as well. So you remember Pretzel asked me about games with transgender characters. I think you can chuck that on the list as well. Well, it's not meant to be like you're not meant to know what they are anyway. It's not even important to the storyline. It just is part of the game. Anyway, I remember at the end of the game, it has this beautiful storyline. I remember just watching, like, whoa, what a great storyline. Anyway, it gets re-released on PS4 and Xbox by Radalac Games. Radalac purposely make dumb trophies for idiot trophy hunters that just want to pad their score up. The game takes about, I think about 8 hours to finish. And the game has all these accessibility options. So if you're really bad at games, you can just put it like in this really easy mode. You can just run through the platforms, not even like do anything. I don't know what Radalac did in it, but they pretty much put an option where you can skip to the end of the game and just watch the ending, or even press start to skip it because you wouldn't be. Why would you be invested in? You haven't watched the game, and just get the platinum trophy in 8 minutes, and that's the actual true time. And imagine if there was a reward for that every time you watched a movie, you got $1,000, and you could just skip the movie. Imagine someone giving someone a copy of, I don't know, The Godfather or Drive or something, and you just skipped to the end and you got $1,000. And be like, yeah, I watched Drive, I got $1,000. I watched Godfather, I got $1,000. But you didn't watch the movie. Like that's what that trophy is effectively saying. It's like don't. It's like pretty much saying don't play the game, just skip it. It's a worthless, useless game. So that's to me is the dark side of trophy hunting, where sometimes it ruins the pretty much the artist integrity of the project. So Yoko Taro putting that thing there, I think it's cool. Like
So
at the end of the day, you don't need to buy the trophies. You can just do it legit. That's up to you. That's on the player to if they can choose to do it or not. But anyway, go Pretzel.
No, so okay, so I have some questions then about achievement hunting then. Let's say that so I've seen you do this with some games where like in order to get a trophy you have to do it without dying, right?
Yeah.
And so I've noticed you will like quit the game and restart it before you like it actually registers you dying.
Correct.
Is that maintaining the integrity of the trophy?
Probably not. Depends on who you ask. Yeah.
So then I guess my question is that really achievement hunting? Or where is this delineation at then?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like the journey, I guess. Like I still got it and I still put the effort in. I guess in a way I did technically cheese the game because I paused and quit to avoid, the death being counted in that example. So in that circumstance, there comes a point where sometimes if it's if in my brain I think the game's bullshit, I'll cheese it. So something like what's it called, Dead Cells. I hated that game. The final difficulty in that game was crap. So in my own brain, I internalized the thought, you know what? Fuck this game. I'm just gonna pause and save scum it all the way to the end. And but then you've got games like Save. What's another game that I couldn't die? Oh, Devil May Cry. Just then, I had to exit out the game. So yeah, you are absolutely right. It does kind of destroy the integrity. So it's kind of like I actually have no good answer for you, Pretzel. I guess it depends on the trophy hunter. Because it's kind of like saving and quitting still counts because it's kind of like it's still like the journey of like overcoming an obstacle. But yeah, absolutely. It's also like the integrity there. It's kind of like every trophy hunter and achievement hunter, I should say, has like a level of integrity where some people will be like like a purist, like a full
Mm-hmm.
purist, where they're like, nah, I will not use any save scumming. I will not do this. I will not do that. Did you, Pretzel? Did you save scum XCOM when you played as a kid?
No, I
Okay,
still don't.
okay. So
I still do Iron Man.
yeah, so you're a purist. Whereas, like for
Mm-hmm.
me, when I played XCOM as a kid, I save scum that. I was like, no, I don't want my people to die.
Yeah,
So, oh, thanks for the donation from Pretzel Punch. Is someone impersonating you, Pretzel?
someone's impersonating me.
Okay.
Um,
But thanks for
so
1373. So yeah, so there is that level of integrity where it's like everyone has. So you got, I guess you got the babyists who literally play dumb baby games just to get that number up. Then you've got people who do um medium, like the medium skill level where they'll be like, oh, I'll do it, but I won't do this, I won't do that. Then you got like the hardcore people who will like follow the rules to the T, like what you just did, like no Iron Man mode, Iron Man mode, like actually following it to the rules, no save scumming, or
mm,
but yeah, I guess it depends on the person. It's their perspective, and I guess we all have our own internalized thoughts of why we choose to do it that way. And like my answer is not correct, and your answer is not correct because it's kind of like that dumb saying: play what you want, have fun the way you want to have fun. Like I
no,
actually I used to
I
look
guess I'm
down.
trying to understand it as someone that's not an achievement
Hmm.
hunter, right? So, for example, like save scumming, save manipulation, and stuff like
Hmm.
that, right? In order to get a trophy,
Hmm.
does that not also taint the actual achievement itself? In other words, if you're not doing it quote unquote the legitimate way.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes down to the point, and I think Duo and Devil Boy put a good point here. To me, the game, if the challenges feels fair, I'll do it legit. If I feel like it's unfair, poorly designed, I'll find the easiest way through. Which that can happen sometimes, where it's kind of like this goes back to the internalization of that thought, where if you think it's bullshit, you'll find a way to get around it. And
But does getting the trophy then feel satisfying?
I still find it satisfying because I still feel like I went on a journey. Because at the end of the day, like I'll just do Devil May Cry's example. I had to finish the game without dying, so I had to every time I died, I had to just pause and reload the level up. Um, I still found it fun because the game was like super hard, so I still got challenged in its own way. And I guess it was kind of like a roadblock. It's still me pausing, quitting the game, and reloading it is still like a roadblock. Yeah, like I'd still like in a way I still feel like I earned it, but obviously if I was like full hardcore and went nah, I died, I got to restart the game from all the way at the beginning, then yeah, I think that's something I totally stand by. And I honestly, if people judge me for it, that's fine. Like I don't blame them. I think we all got our own um and yeah, and Sammy B said, I feel so complete this topic, but I agree with Pretzel. Are you good enough to get that trophy? That's 100%. Like, maybe I don't deserve Vanquish and Devil May Cry, because I had to do the save and quit and reload to maintain my 0 deaths for the playthrough. So
Well,
yeah.
because I guess also like if someone, so for example, with like Vanquish or something,
Hmm.
if you and a random person both have the platinum in that game, right?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I like
And
this.
that person did it without doing quit reload.
Hmm.
But then you did. Does your platinum and their platinum equal out?
No, I consider him my king. I'll bow down to him. He's my lord. And Devil
But
Boy.
but then but people don't talk about it like
No,
that
they
though,
don't.
do
They
they?
don't. No,
They
not.
talk about it as, oh, I got 100%, I got a platinum.
Yeah,
It's not about it's not about like the actual process or anything like that.
it's like I feel like very good point. Like I always tell people like I'll never brag about something that I did. Like for example, Celeste, right? Celeste has a baby mode on it, so if you find the game too, I can give yourself invincibility. I got the platinum Celeste, but I didn't do it legit. So I did majority of the game. I got to like B side 7 or 6. I got to that stage where I had too many games on the plate. I was over it. I couldn't be bothered. I've still got my original save file untarnished, and I've got my baby game where I finished it. If anyone ever says to me, um, if anyone says to me, "Oh, I got the Celeste Platinum," the first thing, "Oh, did you use baby mode?" And they go, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Well, you did better than me because I did." So, like, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, honorable. It sounds so douchey when saying that. I would tell someone like, "Hey, I, what's it called? I did the baby mode to assist mode to get it through. So your platinums are worth more than mine." So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and people,
So
yeah, go.
no, I was gonna say Duo said getting Cuphead, you don't need S ranks for that because the plat doesn't do it. Okay, so
Wait, you missed the
on
line which says
paper
Fox
you
is the
get a
king.
on paper you've gotten a platinum because you didn't do S rank.
Mm-hmm.
Did you still 100% the game?
Yeah.
That's just a general question then, right? So if our only guide on whether it's 100% or whether you've platted or achievement hunted the game, right,
Mm.
is basically that level. And let's say that, and Mocha brought up the same thing, that that the platinum doesn't necessarily cover
Yeah,
100%
some
something.
games it doesn't. Watch Dogs 2 is an example where you don't need to get 100% for the entire game. You don't have to do everything. You can just do like maybe like I think you could do 60% of the game or something. So it's kind of so there is a spectrum of like it's like there is no correct answer. At the end of the day, like if you beat XCOM Iron Man mode, you are the king. Like you have the right to go around to people's streams and be like, I got this Iron Man mode. I'm just running the chat and they get banned for for showing off in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. It is because sometimes the what Mocha said about the 100% doesn't tie into things. I'm trying. There's a few games out there where you don't need to do everything, or you don't need to do this or that. So it does come to that level where it's kind of like down to integrity to the person, whether what they're saying is right or wrong. Like I'm pretty. I'm pretty and I guess another point is if a game doesn't have 100% as a trophy, but if I like the game, I will get 100%. I can't think of an example off the top of my head where I did that, but I know there is some on my profile. But yeah, it's a very interesting discussion, and there is different. Actually, oh, Sayonara Wild Hearts. Technically, I did. Oh no, I didn't finish the one life mode. Damn, because that's not even necessary at all. But I actually want to do it one day. So yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like it's a perspective, I guess. It's a great I really like the question, Brett. So it was really good.
Yeah, of course. No, and this isn't me like shooting down like achievement hunters or plat hunters. It's from the perspective of someone that doesn't do it, trying
Yeah.
to understand it, right? Like like okay, like because it seems like a lot the attitude that I see a lot is I got the plat. It doesn't matter how I got it. It doesn't matter that I didn't complete the game per
Mm-hmm.
se, right? Because I guess I associate platting with 100% completing the game,
Mm.
and I know that there's not always an intersection between
Correct.
those two, right? Um, and so I guess it's me trying to figure out and understand where people like what people are willing to do in order to do it, what things people aren't willing to do if they caveat it,
Yeah.
or if all they do is they see a plat or 100% like or a gamer score or whatever, and they're like, I did it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? We're all on the same. If you look at the list of everyone that got a plat, everyone's on the same level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all equivalent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like because like for me, I never go around flexing my plat penis to people because I don't care that much. The only time I might like talk down to someone, and I've done this to people, is if they've bragged that they've got all these like baby games, like rad light games, or like kids games. Then I just feel like they're just chasing a number and they're doing it for clout. But if I feel like someone's just doing it because it's just it's just the way they enjoy the game, they enjoy, because some trophies are stupid. Um, like in 2009 and 10, all those PS3 and 360 games had these stupid multiplayer trophies that the devs put in there just to force you to play multiplayer. If there was a way I could skip those, I would. I would have no. I would have no. My integrity would be like, no, I don't care. Like if I can skip it, glitch it, cheat it, skip past it, I'll do it. And then yeah, you got dumb stuff like Star Ocean 4 that's got takes 500 to 1,000 hours. Like I ain't doing that. But yeah, it's a spectrum, I guess. I guess the main thing is like make sure number one you're having fun doing it or not. Number two, don't.
Oh, you say that. Are you having fun when you're completing games?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like as much as I get angry, like Vanquish and Hollow Knight and like Hunt Down, I still have fun. It's really stupid. I know I might look pissed off and angry on the screen, like doing like Hunt Down, doing every level without dying, or Hollow Knight, dealing with the Hollow Knight community. That should be a trophy itself, dealing with the Hollow Knight community while playing Hollow Knight. Like doing Pantheon 5, like yeah, as much as I hated it, I still feel proud that I did it. And like Vanquish doing challenge mission 6, and like soon when I do Devil May Cry doing Dante Must Die mode, I feel as much as I hate it, it's so annoying. It's cool. But then there's games like what's it called? What's that shitty game? Lords of Fallen, where New Game was fine, but then New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus just was so stupid, and that there was a way to glitch the final boss so he doesn't move and you can just kill him. That was a game where my integrity was like, nah, this game's crap. The way the boss's design is crap. I don't care. I'm cheesing this guy, and that's where like I guess there's like line. It's kind of like if a hard game is fun and fair, or Devil May Cry is not fair all the time, but if it's fun and fair in its own way, I don't mind doing it. But if it's crappy and poorly designed, where if you do the wrong build you can't beat the boss, then that's when I'm happy to, to let integrity slide away.
Yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts about
No, it's
just achievement hunting and stuff like that?
no, it's just and like what Man Mike said that, yeah, she said she did that achievement doing the Iron Man mode and she did it legit and her friends saved scum, but she just gives her street credit. So it's kind of like you've got trophies and then you got street cred behind the trophy. So, Pantheon 5 and Hollow Knight you can cheat it. So there is a glitch where you can give yourself invincibility and just do it. So yeah, it's kind of like. Yeah, you got the trophy hunt and you got the street credits because kind of there should be like another hidden an invisible profile which tells you how hardcore you are, I guess. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking to me about this.
So you're gonna get more trophies or what?
Nah, fuck it.
Fair enough.
I'll play until I'm done having fun. That's
Exactly.
general. If you guys don't know my philosophy, I play until I'm done having fun, and that's pretty much it. Or until I feel like I've had experience the game, and then if I enjoyed it enough, I'll go back and maybe explore the parts I didn't explore. But like that's just my philosophy. The biggest example is like Red Dead 2. I completed the story and I knew that there were side quests and shit I didn't do, and I just sold the game. I was done with it at that point.
Just don't.
Like,
That's on my
with the story.
That's on my like pile of like. Ugh. Like
I'm gonna finish Nier. Shut up. It's on hiatus.
Yeah, that's a game where like that's on the threshold of me going like I don't even want to do it, but like I kind of want to do it, but like for the rep, but then I don't want to do it because I don't think it's that fun to do all the quests in that game. Like Red Dead Redemption was a pass as it is, was a bit annoying, but Red Dead 2 took it too far a little bit. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Should I read out some of the answers to the question we asked at the beginning?
Yes, go for it.
All right. So if you guys don't remember the question we asked at the beginning was, do you pre-order games or buy day one? What informs your decision to do so or not? And have you gotten burnt by buying day one or bought a game day one and regretted it?
Let's go.
So I'll pick out some of the answers here. Bohemia said, since I stick to digital copies of games at this point, whether or not I pre-order largely depends on if I have the money for the game now and how excited I am for the game. If I can afford it and I know I will buy it no matter what, I will generally pre-order so I have the game at release. Any comment on that?
Yeah. I'm in a blessed position where my only my games is my biggest passion. So I guess my biggest expenses are games. So yeah, if you've got the money, I guess as a kid you have to be a bit more selective, but now as an adult, I don't have to be as selective anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Mocha says, I pre-ordered Mario 3D All Stars because I know I'll like it. Plus, it's a limited release. I talked about that earlier. Yeah,
Mm.
I did the same thing. I have been burnt one with my pre-order of Kingdom Hearts 3 because it was awful, and this is coming from a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yeah.
Luckily, I resold it for the same amount I paid for initially. I also bought Final Fantasy 15 on release because a lot of people said it was good, and I regretted the purchase the whole time as it felt unfinished.
Oh
And that's an example as well. They didn't technically finish the game until they released the DLCs and filled in a bunch of
yeah.
story that was missing.
That's a
Uh,
rough situation when I was talking about brand equity, because Kingdom Hearts 1 is a pretty good game. Kingdom Hearts 2, I hate the intro, but the rest of the game is pretty decent. And then you've been waiting 3, like that's what 15. What was the gap? Was it 15
yeah, like
years?
15 years or something like that.
That game's a slap in the face. So yeah, so it can happen to anything. Anything can happen. Maybe Dark Souls 4 or two Sekiro, two Furious is gonna be garbage or something. I don't know. Maybe From Software will lose its touch. Who knows?
Yeah.
It can happen to anything.
Uh, Ribs says, I rarely pre-order because too poor, haha. But if a game super interests me and or I saved money to I pre-order digitally so it preloads. That's
Hmm.
something I guess I didn't bring up is preloads.
Hmm.
And I think it's different with Steam because Steam you can actually still get a refund on digital.
Yes, good
Um,
point. At least you
so
could
that
try
is a
Steam.
point we didn't bring up. At least with Steam you can get a refund if you pre-order if you play I forget the exact amount, but basically if you fall within a window of certain hours played and it's been a certain amount of time after you bought it, you can still get a refund.
Yeah.
So that is a different point entirely. I think
Yeah.
we're more talking about console, basically where the ability to get a refund is not an option. I think people go for day one because they have FOMO and companies profit from that. They absolutely do. I
Yeah, they
guess
do.
what's the FOMO? Where's the FOMO at? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. I don't like. What's the point?
What are
Like
you missing out of if you wait a week or two and wait for the release? Like
hype,
wait for reviews
hype.
and stuff.
Just being part of a cool club where you played it first. I think that's it. There's no real reason.
Yeah, I don't get it,
Like unless if
honestly.
you like, it's like a conclusion to a storyline that you really want to know the ending to. It's not like it's no real point.
Yeah. I, and even then, like just I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally don't understand it. I bought Cycle Wheeze says I bought day one through PS3 because I play on PC now. I can get it whenever I want and don't have to add my backlog.
Hmm.
I just wait for Steam sales. Biggest burn was the PS save feature in Skyrim.
Oh, as in saving the game from PS3 to PS4.
I'm not sure. Um,
It's like,
and
was if
then
you're there, can you explain it?
Yeah, and then Meg says, I only pre-order if I plan on getting a physical copy of the game, so that's really just Switch for me. If it's a digital copy, I tend to buy day of. Yeah, I guess it is very game dependent, but I guess even if it's there's been so many examples of games, even that are part of established franchises and
Yeah.
stuff, that like you buy it day one and you get burnt by doing so.
Yeah.
Um, and I just especially ones that aren't story heavy, you know, um, like for example, a Mario game. Let's say that the Mario Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Mario Odyssey, not Mario, like not a hypothetical Mario Odyssey 2, but like Mario Odyssey when it was coming out, right? Like, sure, you might like Mario, but Mario Odyssey does a lot of things different than previous Marios. You
Hmm.
might not like it, and it might have bombed. Luckily, it didn't, right? Breath of the Wild is a good example. Breath of the Wild is so different than the other Zelda games,
Yeah.
right? And you might not have liked it, but you're buying it because oh, it's Zelda, right?
Yeah.
And it has a reputation and stuff. Um, and you could have easily gotten burnt on that.
Oh yeah. I would have
Yeah,
hated Breath. I would have hated Breath of the Wild if I bought that day one. Because
yeah.
I like Zelda in general, but like Breath of the Wild is, yeah, I don't think it's that good of a
Well,
game.
and a series like Final Fantasy, where like the name alone doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, because each game is
Like,
different.
yeah, because each game is so different. Like
Yeah.
the name alone doesn't really carry much weight, really. Um, so like there, I don't see the reason to buy like Final Fantasy like day one.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
Because like for example, like 7, I really like. 8, I think has a lot of issues with it, and I don't like the junction system, and the storyline's a bit silly, and yada yada yada. But then 9 is like the one of the best games ever made. It's my freaking PlayStation menu music. And then 10 I loved, and then 12, when I first played 12, I didn't like 12. I didn't like 12 until I played it last year. So anything can happen. So it's always interesting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Um, that's all I got for responses. I don't know if anyone responded. Nope, in yours. Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Um, did you see anything in chat that you wanted to address with regard to this question?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this podcast. Did you enjoy it, Fox?
Yeah, it was good. That was a good episode 1. Much more smooth than episode 0. So, thanks
Absolutely.